Total War Warhammer 3, The End Times. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and today I want to talk about the third and final installment of the Total War Warhammer series. More specifically, one of the many plot paths that they can take, with one that seems very likely given the fact that we've had many hints about it between the first and second game. I'm of course talking about the End Times. The End Times was a series, well more so of an expansion, which saw the end of the Warhammer Fantasy Battles world. We saw the forces of Chaos uniting into one giant force, even joining forces with the Skaven, whilst all the other races of the Warhammer world had to band together in hopes of defeating this new threat. The various gods of chaos joined forces as they eventually empowered a great ever-chosen warrior known as Archaon. Demon, warrior and beastman and eventually the Skaven fought side by side as they laid waste to the world, as man fought alongside vampire, dwarf fought alongside orc, high elf with dark elf and so on, in a desperate attempt to save the world they wished to protect and eventually rule themselves. We saw Nagash come back and actually join up with the forces of the living in hopes that he may eventually devour the Chaos Gods themselves. Whilst obviously not the most noble of actions, he also knew that it made more sense to ally with the living than actually just be destroyed by Chaos outright. Nonetheless, Chaos eventually did win, and the world was destroyed, which made way for the Age of Sigmar. Now, you're probably wondering why I think the End Times is the setting for the third and final game, despite the fact that many players are hoping that it's not the End Times, and I understand that. The End Times themselves on the tabletop left a lot of people with a bad taste in their mouth, but it makes a lot of sense. This would be the setting where we would actually see Nagash actually come to unlife once again, if we want to call it something, especially since he has been hinted about heavily recently, and a lot of his Motarchs too, such as the Great Enchanter. We've also seen the fact that Archaon has been referred to as the Lord of the End Times, which yes, might be something very small, but the hint is actually there. The last hint could also be when they announced that they were actually working on the third game and called it Utter Chaos. However, I might have been paraphrasing there a little bit when they said that. But in terms of Utter Chaos, nothing can be considered more chaotic than the actual End Times themselves, especially during the lifespan of 8th edition, which we know the game is based around very loosely, if anything, because there are some lore changes here and there. There was a technical expansion for Warhammer 8th edition, which was Tumarkin's Throne of Chaos, but I don't think that they're going to focus around that. Whilst it is a very cool setting and so on, it's not really based so much around the east, where it is more than likely that we'll see the map being based around, or at least very far north, and this expansion was mostly based a little bit in the east, but moved quickly down into the Badlands and then into the lands of the Empire. It doesn't make sense to basically reuse that area once again when there's still a lot of unclaimed land to actually go through. What better way to start seeing the end of the series than to actually begin the End Times? As we've seen from the first game, the plot pretty much is, whilst very sandboxy, it does focus around the Chaos Invasion, which is pretty much a precursor to the End Times. Next, it's the whole thing with Total War Warhammer 2, with the Vortex campaign, which once again does have a bit of a chaos focus towards it. There's a few races trying to get control of the Vortex, and yeah, whilst it's not very chaos-centric, it does have something to do with it near the end. Those who have read the End Time series will know that the Vortex is actually quite important in terms of, well, anything to do with chaos, especially with a lot of magic stuff. Perhaps the narrative campaign focused on the third game could actually be focused on two different things, whereas those of the forces of chaos could be trying to unite the tribes to eventually launch an invasion into the civilized world, and those are the forces of order / neutral, because more than likely we'll see some ogre kingdoms into this, are trying to actually fight them back. I could of course be completely wrong about this and the plot of the third game could be based around the Great Game or something, but hey, I guess we'll find out eventually. But with that, my friends, we've come to the end of our video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, might I suggest giving the video a like, or even subscribing to the channel, as it really does help us out. In the description below, we have various social media links like Discord, Instagram, and so on, where you can get in contact with members of the Great Book. We also have some affiliate links in the description below where you can get Warhammer products and loads of other hobby materials and products for 10 to 25% off, which also helps support the channel at no extra cost to you. Big thank you to our patrons. Your support really does mean the world to us. It helps us out with some minor administration stuff for the back end of the channel, such as cabling and so on. And believe it or not, a lot of these things can't get done without you guys, so thank you. But once again, my friends, thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you all again very soon. Have a good day.